It's Barbara. It's a bright and sunny and beautiful day out there, but it's chilly. Good morning. It's Barbara. Thank you for joining me for coffee. It is a bright sunny day outside, so that's fun. A few clouds in the sky, but not very many. And oh, what a wonderful Zoom call we had. Thank you so much to everybody who came. We had a couple new people and a couple valiant efforts to come, even though it wasn't ideal conditions. Susie was not home, but she tried to come from a coffee shop and didn't really work. And Leslie was on the train and she tried. I hope she could hear us. We couldn't really hear her. Anyway, and lots of people from all over the world, and it was so wonderful to see everybody. Thank you so much. I felt like I talked a lot though, so sorry about that. Well, you know, it's nice to talk and have an answer, you know, like I can hear the response. I know some of you are sitting there talking to me right now, but hearing the responses is so nice. So I am wearing my Portage sweater, which I have a love-hate relationship with, and I will show you this sweater. So this is an open front cardigan, and the collar goes down into pockets, and I love the pockets. The other thing I love-hate about this is the back. Now, I don't know if you can see the back. I have some pictures that screenshots I took. This is like this little intricate cabling that is the entire back of this sweater. Now, it is possible that my dislike for fanciness in the back and not the front might have had its genesis when I was doing this sweater. Because believe me when I tell you, the back of that sweater was a pain in the neck. But I had tried this sweater on. I went to SSK, Super Summer Knit Together, that the Knit Girls put on in Nashville in July every year. And one year I was able to get in. They have a lottery to get in. And one year I got in, and I had a wonderful time. And one of the events that they do is a try-on. They have a try-on room where people, lovely people who come to the event, bring sweaters that they have knit and let the other people try them on to see how they fit, how they look, or whatever. I brought some. And they have a lot of door prizes, things like that. And so you get door prize tickets for bringing them. So, you know, they encourage people to bring them. And there were tons and tons of sweaters, and I tried on a lot of sweaters. Well, I tried on a Portage, and this is by Melissa Shashkari. I'll put it up here. No, I can't think of her name. One of the Knit Girls. One of the Knit Girls, Laura, was sitting there, and she said, you know, I was trying this sweater on, and she said, you know, every single person I've seen who tried on that sweater looked great in it. Which I thought was was great for a sweater, you know. So I came home and I made this sweater, and it took me forever. I think I could go back and look, because I think there was a project page for this one, but I'm pretty sure I didn't finish it until like January or February of the next year. And I started it pretty directly after I got home in July. And that's long for me if I'm actually working on something. But, so all that beautiful detailing is in the back, which, you know, that's my thing. But the other problem is twofold. One, I don't really love an open sweater that I'm going to wear when I want to be warm. Because I'm not that warm in an open sweater. I need something I can button or, so that's number one. This, I love this collar detail that goes into the pockets. In fact, I have a commercial sweater that like that, although now that I say that, I probably don't still have it. But my mother and I both bought sweaters like that we just really loved. But that was cotton, and it was like for, you know, summer and fall, not when I really want to be warm. The other problem is I made this out of not great yarn for a sweater. Now, it looks okay now. I washed it, and it really sprang back into form. I'm having trouble with words today. I don't know if you can tell. But, you know, it had stretched out, and it kind of, and it's not nearly as stretched out as it is now. But this is a high percentage of alpaca in this yarn. This is Cloudborne yarn. And it's hard to tell. It's one of those amazing, maybe you can kind of see a little bit the pink in there and stuff. Yarns that are, when you look at them really closely, they're just every different color, all different colors that are, you know, woven together and spun together to turn into this really lovely yarn. So I love the color of the yarn, although, you know, it reads gray. So I had fun knitting it. It's pretty, it's soft and fun to knit. But I think that it's probably, for all the work I put into the sweater, the sweater ends up getting a little sloppy and stretched out when I wear it. But I don't wear it that often because it doesn't close in the front. You know, it's designed to be open about this much all the way down. So, but when I was done with it, knitting it, I thought, you know, next time if I ever knit this again, which I'm not going to, I would just do like a moss stitch in the back, which would give it a nice texture and, you know, and would be a lot easier because that's cables back there. Little tiny cables. Anyway, it's a wonderful textured back, and if you love that, it's gorgeous. It really is gorgeous. And I'll put some pictures. I took a screenshot, and I'll put that here. You can see it's really beautiful. And if you like an open front cardigan like that, it's a sweater that looks good on everybody. So I'm not recommending against knitting it. I probably won't because I was so annoyed with myself in it by the time I was done. And because of that open shirt thing, I don't wear it very often because it's a warm sweater, except it's not, you know. It's kind of weird. But I'm wearing it today because I am cutting Aura's hair today, and you know, I thought a cardigan would be better because I won't wear my sweater when I'm cutting her hair. And then I saw this and said, oh, I haven't worn it or talked about it yet, so I will. So anyway, if it's your style of sweater, then I recommend it. I don't recall whether I had any trouble with the pattern or anything. You know, reading the pattern or following it or anything like that. I don't recall that I had any trouble with it. But it's a long, you know, it's a long sweater, so that back is a big piece of real estate. If I were doing it again, I'd do moss stitch. But the rest of it is, the front is stockinette, and then the collar and the pockets are garter. Anyway, the portage, that's what I'm wearing. I did knit while we were talking yesterday on the Zoom. Oh, and I also balled up 2 more above my balls. I only have 1 skein left that isn't balled up. But I got this far. So I got that far under my sleeves. So my next plan is to start working on the sleeves. I'm going to do them 2 at a time. And here's the front lace panel. I'm going to do the sleeves 2 at a time and do them next, and then do the collar so that I know how much yarn I have left, and then make the body as long as I can. And if I can't make it long enough, I'll go and see if I can get another skein of that color from the yarn shop. I'm not going to go like on Ravelry to try to find it. I feel kind of bad that a woman contacted me. I had some yarn from Prado de Lana, I think. Prada de Lana. It was a local farm to me, but they moved to New Hampshire or someplace like that. But I got this yarn at Vogue Knitting Live all those years ago. So like 6 years ago, something like that. And I guess I can't remember when I went. And I bought 3 different colors, and I was going to make a color work hat that Shetland Wool Week has a free pattern every year, and this was the one that had the hats. I want to say it was called the bobble hat, but with sheep around it. I can't remember. Let's see if I can find it. It was a free pattern. And so I got these 3 colors of this yarn because the yarn was very rustic. Lovely, but not next to the skin for me. But I thought maybe it would be okay in a hat for me. And then I never made the hat. And I got contacted by a lady on Ravelry saying, I need 1 more skein of this one color, Annie. Because they named their yarn after their animals. You know, that gave them the wool. And, you know, making a sweater, and, you know, would you mind selling me your skein of Annie? I cannot find it. I found the other 2 colors. I couldn't find Annie. And I went back to her and I said, I have Addie. Is it Addie? And she's like, no, it's Annie. I'm like, okay. Because apparently the 3rd one I can't find is called Annie. And I felt bad. She said, I'm the only one in Ravelry that has that color of that yarn listed in my stash. And I've stopped. It's been 3 years now, at least, since I've put new yarn into my stash on Ravelry. So anyway, I felt bad that I couldn't find it because I would have been happy to sell it to her. And we were talking about linen yarn yesterday, and after we were done, I tried to find my linen yarn. I found some white, but I thought I had like a burgundy color. I have quite a few colors. So, and while I was looking for the linen yarn, which I did not find, well, I found some white. I came across several sweaters quantities of yarn. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I bought that. I have so much yarn. I have to stop buying yarn. And I have so much yarn that are gorgeous, and you know, I don't buy ugly yarn for sweaters. I do buy some yarn by mistake. Turns out it's still not ugly. I have the problem if I buy something by mistake, if somebody sends me something by mistake, or I've bought something by mistake, I never send it back. I just pay for it and get the thing I was trying to get. That happened to me more than once. For sweater quantity yarn. Because once I have it in my hot little hands, I can't send it back. How do you send it back? Not me. So anyway, I found a bunch of stuff. One of these days, I'm going to decant. And I just moved all my yarn. So it's so crazy that I still feel like I don't have a handle on it. So yeah. Anyway, I mean, that's a lovely adventure to go discovering things, but I forgot I had got some traveling yarn. I got a sweater's worth of that when I was at my local yarn shop when I broke my ban on buying new yarn. So anyway, I have a wonderful stash. I should just be cuddling my stash very regularly. And that will help with my mojo. But knitting this pink fuchsia, whatever this color is making me so happy. But I have other colors in their bright colors. I have that gorgeous Strike, which is the Scream color from Venta of Arctic Crafts. It's bright and gorgeous and lovely, and I really want a sweater out of that too. And that is also, yeah, now that I think about it, a lot of my sweaters quantities are kind of muted colors. They're beautiful, but they're kind of muted. I wonder if I'm going through sort of a metamorphosis into wanting brighter colors. I'll have to think about that and think about how I handle that and go and figure out what do I have that is bright and what do I have that is gorgeous, but maybe I'm not gonna make a sweater. I'll just keep it all. I can just add. I can buy more. It's okay. So my new pens came, and they don't say alcohol on them anywhere, and they're watercolors, and they're very similar to the other pens that I got. So that was a little disappointing. I was hoping that they were different. I had watched this guy use them, you know, and he said this is what he got. Well, he said alcohol, and these don't say it. So I have to go back to the website and see if I made a mistake, because, you know, I often do. And see if I got the ones that I wanted to get. So, but I got some pencils and erasers and pens and sketch, you know, like how to draw, beginning drawing books and things like that for me to play with. And so I'm going to be doing that a little bit today, I think. I found one of my watercolor sketchbooks that is exactly card size, and I think I'm going to see how that works. That may be like too small to be comfortable drawing on, but I'm going to try it and see, because that would be very convenient. And yeah, so I'm going to be doing some little drawing. I'm going to be cutting Laura's hair. I'm going to be working on maybe getting my sleeves on the needles. And I don't think there's any detailing down the sleeves of the Malin. I think it's just the lace down the front. So I can just be working on my sleeves. And that'll be fun. Once the sleeves are done and the collar's done, it's going to feel like the sweater's done. I mean, there's going to be a lot to go. But then the lace pattern in the front is so easy. It's completely memorized. I've completely memorized it, so I don't even need my paper anymore. Well, that's not true. When I get to the cables, I need the paper to figure out which stitches go in the front and which stitches go in the back. That's the only thing I need it for. All right, I'm rambling. Please take good care of yourselves, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you again, everybody who came to the Zoom. It was so lovely. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Please stay safe and stay sane.